Let me see. Okay, yeah, we are live. All right. All right. Welcome to episode 724 of the Black Brain Trust. This is the Sapio-Males Guide to the Galaxy. Juxtaposition. Yeah, juxtaposition. In the description there is a definition. Hence the little parentheses, good versus bad, right? Because that's kind of like one of the most basic juxtapositions that we can observably look at, right? So we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into that, like specifically in reference to the good man, or say the good woman. We're going to talk about it. Now, before I do the impolite and very rude thing, let me do this here. There we go. First thing we got to do is we got to welcome everyone. And then let's do this here. All right. So as you guys make your way in, I will politely ask that you guys hit the like button, number one, and then also put 109 in the chat if you're listening, to make sure that it sounds okay. Because I already felt myself starting to go into a diatribe, and I was like, whoa, dude, check if everything's cool first before you do that. So before I do that, can you guys do that? Wait, there's a comment. Complex, is that you? This is me. Yes, it is. He is I, and I am him. That guy right there. But yeah, if you guys can let me know if the sound and everything is okay. I will be joined by my co-host Rael shortly. So I kind of want to just kind of square everything up, make sure everything's cool before I start having some diarrhea at the mouth, you know. So if anybody can drop like a 109 in the chat to make sure everything is cool. I'm trying to really get honing my skills with regards to the streaming thing. All right, trying to do that there. Trying to do that there. You know what I'm saying? So okay. So meanwhile, anyway, let's start getting into it, right? So juxtaposition. What is that? What the hell is a juxtaposition? Well, essentially a juxtaposition is the fact of two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effects. So, as I was illustrating, in the title there, good versus bad, that would be like a basic example of a juxtaposition, right? Good and bad. Now, here's the thing. There's a notion or an idea that there's a general consensus as to what is good and a general consensus to what is bad. What actually is that there is a notion or an idea that everybody has, right? What's good, what is bad. It's not necessarily general consensus. Okay, I need you guys to pin that. It's not necessarily general consensus. How do we know this? Well, you'll have people that'll argue two opposing positions on something. One, your casual observer could say, hey man, that's not necessarily cool, and we don't really see how that could fit and benefit the greater good. Versus the other, where everybody, or let's just say a good working majority, can kind of agree that, you know what, regardless of where we lie on the political spectrum or wherever, we could all stand to benefit from that, right? I.e., like, say, taxes, for example. So, good and bad are concepts that are held more so to the individual and not so much to the greater group. Okay, like I said, there's going to be like certain things that people are going to agree on, right? Very base things, but then as soon as you start getting off into like the details of things, oh no no no, it becomes a shit show, right? Um, let's circle it back into say like the position of say like relationships, right? Good and bad, right? Women like bad guys, dudes like thoughts, right? And the quote unquote good girls don't get chosen, and neither do the quote unquote good guys, right? Isn't that interesting? Right? That's pretty much like uh, the crux of what a juxtaposition is. Because you would think that okay, does that even make sense? Let's start there. Does that make sense? Think about it. So, um, what's good is not preferred, and I'm putting this in quotes. Remember, because we're gonna have to kind of break down and dissect notions of good and bad, and I'm gonna be reading quotes. Right, I'm gonna be reading quotes with regards to juxtapositions. Okay, but I think what we need to start doing is thinking a little bit more deeply about what we consider to be good, right? Once again, in quotes, and what we consider to be bad, in quotes. Okay. Um, another example of this would be like children who don't want to eat their vegetables. They think it's bad. They don't want to eat it. They want to eat chicken nuggets and fries and Takis, that kind of shit, right? But as soon as you throw some broccoli in front of their face, or something like that, they really ain't trying to see. They really ain't trying to see no parts of that. Okay, so their notion of good and bad, right, um, is held to them. Now, as parents, we basically infer into them notions of good and bad. See, there's some kids you get them the bullshit and they're gonna say right, because they got a notion of good and bad from people who have a proper notion of good and bad. They have a proper concept of juxtaposition, basically, versus the people who view good and bad based on self-interest and not based on common sense. Right? The scenario I just gave you is common sense. What we find mostly, though, is a scenario where people view good and bad based on how it directly benefits them or how they best stand to benefit or gain. They may there might be some psychological element where toxicity is a part of the equation, right? So what's good, quote unquote, for them is not necessarily say like what your average logical common sense thinking person would say would be good for them, right? See, so good and bad, these are very subjective concepts to begin with. And then we have to add the element of juxtaposition, i.e., when we say, well, good women say, well, we can't find men. And then the quote unquote good men say, well, we can't find women. Now, is it that they're missing each other, or is it all in all actuality, they're actually bad? Which one? What is it? Juxtaposition, it largely has to do with one's own interpersonal positioning, what they see and view as good, and what they view as bad. These are very, actually, even though they have distinct definitions, it's per person, it's actually very fluid. Rael, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Am I getting static, dude? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's a little static. Yeah, that's what I said in the back chat.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm looking at. I just saw it and I'm like, shit, every time. Now, what happens here is after about 15, 20 minutes, and I think it might have something to do with my computer. Because when I plug this headset in, it'll do that for about, I don't know, first 10 or 15 minutes, and then it'll stop. Damn, okay. Is everything cool, though, as far as like music and sound and all that shit? Is it still staticky or what? What's going on? Yo, Ryo, can you hear me? Shit, that's why I kind of put a 109 in the chat. If anybody can let me know if it's coming off kind of weird or whatever. Because, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, my system is built for sim racing. So I kind of dual purpose it for streaming. And it's not, yeah, maybe I don't have it set up quite the way it needs to be. So maybe that's why I'm running into these issues. Okay. So let me just look in the chat real quick. We got Abe. Oh, what's going on, man? Iori, peace, brother. How you doing, man? Backbone Files. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Welcome. So yeah, man, we just in here this evening discussing the nature of juxtapositions. Okay. Macron, I just modded you up, bro. The nature of juxtapositions, right? Because in and I swear, anybody can, you put a 109. Like, let me know if it's sounding cool. I just really want to know before I start blabbering again. Because the Ryo just let me know it was staticky. So I'm like, shit. So is everything cool? You guys can let me know. Just put 109 in the chat if at all possible. But in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and continue on. So, why have this discussion tonight? Well, what is a good man and what is a good woman? What the hell is that? On a few different panels, right, over the course of some years, I've told women directly. I said, "Don't call me a good man." I specifically and purposely told them, "Don't call me a good man," because that has a connotation, right? And we'll get into that in a second. But what I said was, use more accurate attributes. Do you think I'm kind? Cool. Do you think I'm cool? Cool. Do you think, I'm respectful? Cool. Use those. Don't say I'm quote unquote good, right? As we referenced earlier, why is it that quote unquote good men get the short end of the stick? Why is it that quote unquote nice guys finish last? Think about this for a second. Any sisters out there listening? I mean, when we hear you guys express, quote unquote good women get passed up. Why is that? Why do you think that might be? Why does quote unquote good have quote unquote bad effects? You get what I mean? So I'm not saying that being a not so good person is the move. I'm not saying that at all, right? What I'm saying is that one, we have to define for ourselves understanding who we are as people or as an individual, let's just say, right? You know your proclivities. You know, we all know our proclivities. We all know what we have tendencies to do. We know our bad habits, right? And then we also know our strong suits, right? And so notice I'm not saying good attributes and bad attributes. I'm saying we know I'm using proclivities, habits, right? Strong points, strong suits, right? I'm trying to like give us a 360-degree view of ourselves and say, okay, well, what are the positive and negative aspects of ourselves, right? Now, uh, what we want to do is strike balance. No one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. That's why we're discussing juxtapositions because what we want to do is strike a balance, middle point. We have to recognize the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, right? The dual aspects of ourselves, right? Your left and right hemisphere, all that shit, yin yang. You get what I'm saying? Yo, Ryle, you good, man? Is your sound there? Or... Okay, I don't. I mean, he may still be away. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Hey, is it staticky? I still ain't got a 109, man. So is it staticky? Let me know what's good.
No, it's kind of loud though. Music
It's
is
loud.
loud.
All right, let me do that then. Yeah, that's why I was like, man, can somebody like let me know what's good? Yeah, because I could do that right there. Because with the headphones, it works a little different, man. So oftentimes I go to the playback and then I can hear the levels, and it sounds a lot different on the playback than it does in my ear. So I always ask for somebody to put a 109 or something if it sounds good to them. That way I know, right? But okay, all right. So I got some quotes I want to pull up to kind of get into like the nature of this, right? You got something to put on this, bro, before I pull these up?
Now go ahead and flow, man.
Okay, all right. And we got Yoga Me in the house. What's going on, brother? Welcome, man. How you doing? Just check something real quick. All right. So as y'all know, like I always do, brainy quotes is where I like to go to kind of get my inspiration for what other people have to say about subject matters that we want to discuss. So let's dig into this, man. Let's dig into this. Listen, I'm always trying to find connections between things. That art is the juxtaposition of a lot of things that seem unrelated but add up to something recognizable. Pat Metheny, he's from what group is that? Fleetwood Mac, I think it was. I'm trying to remember what group he's from. Like I was saying, what we're trying to do is find that connection point between like two ends of a spectrum, good and bad, let's just say, right? And like I said, for this discussion, I want to keep it to good and bad because those are the terms used in terms of like, say, the relationship talks, right? Good men, bad boys, bad dudes, women like bad dudes, right? But they want to go get a good guy, right? But what are they viewing? Okay, right? Or what do they actually see as good and bad in all actuality, right? See, so again, these things are fluid, and what we need to do is kind of pin down our own sort of perception on how we see quote unquote good and how we see quote unquote bad. I'm definitely a fan of juxtaposition, using the most beautiful line to say the most horrific thing. I think one of the main things in songwriting is definitely friction between the words and the melody. Rufus Wainwright. Not really sure who that is, but once again, using the most beautiful line to say the most horrific thing. You ever seen like a bomb ass chick with a bum ass dude? Juxtaposition, it's the same shit. right? But maybe, you know, some way they make it work, right? Why? Because maybe they see the good in each other. You might see the bad, they may see the good. Who knows? Shit's fluid. I love my parents, but I'm almost 28, and it's not fun to be asked, "What are you doing today? What do you want for dinner? When are you going to be home?" It just makes you feel like a kid. It's this juxtaposition of feeling annoyed and really lucky to have people who love you so much. Damn.
Yeah, dynamite.
There you go. How about that one? You know, being annoyed by somebody who really loves you. That's a bit of a juxtaposition. I like how powerful fashion makes me feel. I live for that grungy, prissy juxtaposition that Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, and Drew Barrymore wore in the 90s. That's Dua Lipa. She's like some new singer chick. I've heard her stuff. I think my daughter does like cheerleading to some of her songs or something. But I like how she has to go to the 90s, i.e. Gen X, to get that inspiration. I like that shit. We pioneered that shit. Ryo, am I lying? I think he's muted. It's been a real sort of juxtaposition in my life because I've gone from wrestling in the past 15, 16 years to this new role where I'm essentially running a wrestling company. So during the week, where I used to train and work out and go tan, now I work 24 hours a day. Some guy, Marty Scroll, I don't know, he does, he runs one of the wrestling leagues or something, but he's kind of speaking to like the two polar opposite ends of what he used to do in his profession, right? So we're looking at juxtaposition just from your day-to-day activities, even when you used to be doing one thing one day and the next thing you're doing something else that's totally different, right? See, so there's a bit of a balance that you even have to strike. Like, perfect example. You ever been like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have experienced this because of like shit, the pandemic and stuff like that. But let's just take, for example, you've been off work for like 3, 4, or 5 months, or whatever, right? And then you get a job, and like a couple of days leading up, you're like, shit, I'm gonna have to start getting up and start doing this routine that I ain't done in about 6 months. That is a complete juxtaposition from the life you've been living, the months prior, right? And it's ideally, you're balanced enough to kind of move into that, even if you're not working a job, you live in sort of like a disciplined life where you're still getting up at a certain type of time and then doing certain things throughout the day, right? To kind of keep some form of routine going so that you can go into, say, like a job, right? And you don't have a problem getting up in the morning. You're still gonna get your coffee at the same time. Only difference is you're gonna put on some clothes and head on out or clock in at home, right? Slight difference, but not much of a juxtaposition as opposed to you got used to sleeping till 11, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, noon, right? Then you get a job and they require you to clock in at 7 a.m. Oh, shit. Yeah, quite a juxtaposition. The taste. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Here's the one. Theater represents to me this phenomenon in juxtaposition to real life, where there are these imposed guidelines. Adrian Shelley. So, in this regard, there are imposed guidelines, meaning there's a script, there's scenes, there's all of these things. But in theater, you're purely engaging in the imagination. None of it is quote unquote real, so to speak, right? But what you're enacting or reenacting, so to speak, can be very real things. So that's kind of like the art of like acting and stuff like that, is really kind of like sort of like suspending your own reality to then jump into another one. There is a bit of a juxtaposition there. You're reenacting real life stuff, but not as you, right? So you're engaging purely in your imagination. That's what I'm trying to get out. Cities are about juxtaposition. Richard Rogers. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait, whoa, whoa. Let me get my brain together for that one. Cities are about juxtaposition. Hmm. Upper class, lower class. Hmm. Busy versus private. In terms of communities, right? Gated communities versus rows of apartments and shit. Um, Asphalt and concrete versus parks and trees. Um, hmm. Actually, there is some merit to that when you really think about like the makeup of your environment, right? I mean, okay, let's kind of just go into that just a little bit more, right? So there was a time when I guess as humans we kind of lived like we were embedded more in nature, so to speak, right? I guess we were living in huts or some shit, earthen buildings, stuff like that, right? Dare I even say free energy? That's a whole other conversation, right? Versus what we have today, right? Asphalt, concrete, two of the biggest pollutants on the planet, mind you. Um, and we do have a lot of waste. Now they are calling it climate change and all that kind of stuff, and they're kind of politicizing it from a global perspective. Um, However, I guess you would sort of need that juxtaposition in order to do that, right? That's interesting. There's something about America's sweetheart and America's bad boy. That juxtaposition is what everyone desires. Now, that's pretty much the theme of of sort of what we're talking about here. Now, the last few quotes, I'm kind of maybe going ancillary to the main concept of what we're talking about, right? Giving you sort of different views of what a juxtaposition can look like in terms of our own lives, right? But here we go, right here. There's something about America's sweetheart, aw, right? And America's bad boy. That juxtaposition is what everyone desires. Hmm. Can anyone tell me what's good about the bad boy? Just curious. Interesting.
Well,
You got it. Go ahead, bro.
um, I think that I said this um, many times before that sometimes intelligent people make the mistake that um, they operate off the assumption that people share their values.
Hmm.
So um, when we look at the world, um, especially men, because we value order and structure and things like that. I mean, obviously, nobody wants to live in a building that men built without a solid foundation. I mean, that's just the order of it. That there's just the expectation that you move into this building, the structure is going to be secure. That's a man's mindset. But there are many people who um, it's a funny thing. Like um, on the one hand, they like to push back against the order of things, um, engage in, like I was having a conversation earlier with Chicken, from a man's perspective, like if you and I saw on the news that let's say it was a black dude who robbed somebody and he ended up getting shot and killed in the process, like we're not going to shed a tear. We're not going to be like, oh man, that's sad, that's a tragedy. We're not going to look at it as a tragedy. We're going to look at it as he played the street game and he got caught up in the street.
That's kind of like the roll of the dice, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean that comes with the life, you know. But if you took his girlfriend, for example, she would be crying like crazy, even though she knows what kind of life he engages in, you know. But for her, it's a loss, you know. For us, we would look at it more like an addition by subtraction type of thing, because that's just the way men look at society when it comes to ordering. So why men have been the ones who enforce rules and code of Hammurabi and the commandments and all these different types of things, because that's the way men have to order their external environment to have a certain baseline in which they can operate. Men are not trying to operate in chaos; they're trying to mix order out of the chaos. So, but like I said, with the female, like her mindset will be completely different. Like we're going to look more towards the order and the structure of things, and many times, man, when we're trying to have these conversations of you know um, seeing how to move forward as a collective, to get things accomplished in the mutual interest of the collective, you can't even get to that point because you got so many people who just think that the way that they're operating is going to be conducive to things being actually built, not just for the present generation, but the future generation. But the way that they move is completely structured in a way where it ensures nothing can actually be built, because they're thriving. They're thriving in their world. They're thriving in the chaos. They don't even see that it's actually chaos. They look at the bad as good.
Well, that's what I was saying, man. Earlier, I was like, there's an individual, like every individual has their own notion or idea, right, of what's quote unquote, and I'm putting this in quotes, good, and what's bad, right? And then I kind of made references to like little kids who don't want to eat their vegetables, right, versus kids who not only want to eat their own vegetables but grow them as well, right?
Right.
Right. There's one kid who thinks that vegetables are bad. There's one that thinks that they're good. Right. And then each one of those kids also thinks that the opposite is quote unquote good and bad as well. Right. And so it's that same quote unquote juxtaposition that we also see in how it is that people seek out others to form relationships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got another quote I'm gonna read, dude. I want you to kind of like give me your take on this one too, because this one's hip hop related. But we see it out all the time, dude. It's like, you're not gonna see like, unless it was always in him, and a dude was just kind of led astray. You're not gonna see like a dude who's on some scam shit just rock with some square dudes, unless he's trying to fuck him over, right? Like he's not gonna just naturally go to that, right? Because that's not what's good for him, dude. What's good for him is other niggas that like he can link up with and run scams on people and shit. You know what I'm saying? So You know, a lot of people, again, man, they talk about what a good man and what a good woman is, but they really haven't really dug into the depths of their own minds, right? And really thought about like, well, is what I think is good what other people would think good is, like as an aggregate? And I think if people really dug in, they would come to some very startling understandings about themselves. Like, yeah, there's a lot of shit that I think is good that a lot of people are like, hell no, right? Boom. Flip that mirror back on you. Hey, take a look at yourself for a minute. A lot of people looking at you like, really? You think that's good? Okay. All right. Do you, boo? Do you, dude?
Mhm.
All right, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, have you ever, like, do we think about what we think good and bad is? Fuck putting it out here as a general conversation, right? In social media and all these panels and shit. And think about it. You have all these people up here talking about, well, good man this and good woman that and bad dude this and bad dude that. And don't nobody know any of these individuals, people's notions or ideas on what quote unquote good and bad actually is. That's why this shit don't be going nowhere, dude. A toxic dude is good for a toxic chick, even though quote unquote both of them will be bad because they're toxic, but they're good for each other. Get what I'm saying?
Mhm. Well, we see this in many of the you know, stories, you know, comics and stuff like that, where um, the um, hero is deemed bad because the hero has more power than the average person. So, take for example, Superman.
Superman. I knew you was gonna go there.
I mean, he's so powerful, and his power is so feared by regular humans that he has to adopt a persona that is the complete opposite of what he is. Like the complete opposite.
Bruh.
And um, you know, to me, that's just a story that's just indicative of just human nature, human experience. Like the human, unfortunately, the human mind veers toward the negative more than it does the positive.
Right.
Like for example, like, and this is neurolinguistic programming. Like you hear females say a lot, "I don't want a broke man. I don't want a broke man. I don't want a broke man. I
I
don't want a
mean,
broke
it's
man."
like you speak it into existence almost.
But what they don't realize is that the subconscious mind does not hear what you don't want. It doesn't hear don't. The subconscious mind hears I want. So what do you normally see these chicks end up with? The broke dude that they claim they don't want.
Right.
So I remember one time my homie from college, he was dealing with a chick. She was actually getting her master's in psychology. So she was studying all the psychology, psychological stuff.
I'm a
So,
PhD.
so she they got
Rest in
into it.
peace, KS, man.
So yeah, rest in peace to him. So he was calm, he was collected. He asked her in a very calm voice. He said, "Look, you claim that you're unhappy. You know, you want things to be better." So he said, "Look, what can I do for you that you would say that will make you happy?" So he asked her point blank because she was claiming that she was unhappy. So clearly she should know what she's unhappy about.
Yeah.
When he asked her this question, she responded in a frustrating way. "I don't know. You figure it out."
What?
It's like what?
I'm not in your head.
So, so it. I never forgot that because it was just so perplexing.
That was I'm perplexed. I'm like, huh?
And it was just like, wow. Now, mind you, she was studying to get her master's in psychology. So she would know more about this type of stuff than he would. So, and you know, it's because she didn't even know why she was even upset herself or unhappy, because it had nothing to do with him. It was all on her.
It was yes.
But she was going to try to push it off on him like it was his
Because
issue to
we're
resolve.
projecting outward.
Yeah, she projected outward,
We're
which
projecting.
is what a lot of times, especially a lot of females do a lot of this.
Yes.
So, especially in our group. So, this veering towards negativity. I was reading in this book, psychology book, where it said that it's coming from an environmental position in terms of like when we were in more primitive times, we had to make the assumption that for life-saving purposes that it was something scary in those bushes.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. So
yeah.
you would rather be wrong. You would rather be wrong all the time. Well, how do you put it?
You'd rather no, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yes, like you think it's something in the bushes even when it's not. But that one time you don't think it's something in that bush, it is.
It's gonna be something. Yes.
But that one time gets you. You know
yes, right. So what we've done as humans, we've developed a habit of then preparing. That's what I'm saying. Remember we was talking CYA, cover your ass.
Right, exactly. So but when it comes to human interaction, it's different because you can't possibly live your life assuming the worst in everybody in situations. Like you can't live like.
How do you have a good life?
You can't do it. I mean, you just be a miserable person. But there are a lot of people who are miserable like that because the choosing of the bad, it feels actually safer than the choosing of the good because you know the bad. The psychologist told me years ago when I was dealing with this one chick, and he said, "Look, he said everything that you're saying about the situation is right. He said you're not in the wrong. He said you're right. He said, but the problem is, he said, you're expecting her to choose you over her mom. He said, she knows her mom. He said, even though she's negative and she's not good, he said, but she knows that bad. He said, you on the other hand, he's like, for her, you're like the unknown. He said, even though you're good, he was like, the likelihood of her taking that chance is going to be low. You know, and that's what me personally, you know, we did the stream of psyche. That's why we have so many grown adults out here who are really children, boys and girls mentally, because mentally they're stunted. They're just constantly looking at the world in a state of fear. They're looking at things negatively. You know, even though there are opportunities out here to do so many different things, way more than our great grandparents had access to, but you will still think it's something hiding in that bush, that proverbial bush, to get you.
And you know, it's funny. It's like, okay, those same mechanisms to do all that, they'll use them, right, to do things in that environment to still ensure their survival, but in a way where that thing that's going to jump out of that bush, right, like, see, there's like legitimate business applications for like let's just say Cash App or WhatsApp and stuff like that, right? And then there's like the hood street level shit that you use like the Cash App shit for, right? And again, it really just becomes application and how we view things. It's just like you were saying, if you're in a perpetual state of thinking that something's going to be jumping out of that bush, or i.e., ain't no good man or whatever, then what happens is that you literally attract that shit. Like you literally attract it by thinking like that, right? So it's almost and then if you attract it, it's what you deal with. So I guess it's good for you.
Look, the same female I was just talking about. One day we were sitting down, and she broke down and started crying just out of the blue. We weren't arguing or anything. We were just watching TV. And I was like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" And she said, "Well, I know you treat me good. I know you put me on a pedestal, but deep down, I don't feel like I'm worthy of you." Well, and I was like, obviously, men, we don't view a woman emotional weakness as a negative. Like we're gonna pull her to us, embrace her. Like, man, it's
Well,
gonna be
that's the
all right.
vulnerability aspect. That's what men
Yeah,
oftentimes are asking women to be, right?
right. But in her mind, my good to her was bad. It was a
Right,
bad thing
right.
because in her mind, she didn't deserve good.
See that?
So the more good I made her feel, the more it triggered her psychology in a way to make her self-sabotage things,
Ah,
which is something that is very common in terms of relationships. So you can be good,
uh-huh.
but based on that person's level of
That's bad for
maturity,
her.
growth, and development, it can be deemed bad to them.
Yes, that's what I mean, dude. It's like, yo, I truly believe, bro, that this good man, good woman, dude, it's been too prima facie, dog. Way
But
too
hold on,
surface.
but hold on, but it comes
Go ahead,
from a
go ahead,
real
go ahead.
place. When you so I think it's John Balby. He talked about the
Hey, this sounds cool, right?
yeah, sounds cool.
Okay, all right, cool.
He talked about the what do you call it? The attachment theory. So basically, attachment theory deals with um, basically whoever's your primary caregiver. Typically, in American society, is going to be a mother or some kind of female figure. And so, but the importance, especially from the mother perspective, um, when you have a secure attachment base, you're basically you basically develop the confidence to go into your environment and attempt to achieve things and to garner success in whatever you choose to follow. So you basically have the confidence to do it. You also have the avoidant and the anxious style. Those are the dysfunctional ones. And so, but from infancy, if your attachment style is developed in a dysfunctional way, you will carry that attachment style into your adult years in your relationships.
Yeah.
That's where the anxious and the avoidant comes out. So it's to the point that when an infant, let's say an infant has a mother who doesn't show it affection, and then all of a sudden one day, I don't know, mom hit the lottery for $500 that day, and she's in a good mood and she wants to show the baby affection. Infants can pick up on when their mother is not affectionate to the point that they'll develop a defense mechanism towards their own mother, So even if one day their mother shows affection, basically their body would just go limp because they're
It's
not
not.
used to receiving
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
affection. So
But you know
even
that shit starts in the womb, though. You know that,
right,
right?
that's what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
is how early this stuff
Mm-hmm.
can develop.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you can your attachment style can be dysfunctional from your infancy. And so now you're an adult, you don't know, like you don't know anything about attachment style, anything like that. And so you have to you go out here and obviously like I was saying, with the shorty, like, her when because I was reading about this, I was reading this one story about this woman and she had a husband who loved her, for example. And what happened was even though she knew he loved her, she was embarrassed by him. For some reason, she just was embarrassed by him. And no matter how good he treated her, everybody knew he loved her. Like it traumatized her to the point that she finally just decided to like divorce him. But like his treating her good, it caused her to it would trigger her.
That's like, yo.
So so but what happened was when she divorced him, the triggering that went away because they weren't together anymore.
Yeah.
But then after she gave him up, she went through the stages of grief after
The
losing him.
withdrawal, like grief and withdrawal, right?
So it's like, and it was so weird because when I was reading that, it made me, it would kind of reminded me of the chick that I was just talking about because, like, even after I had divorced my ex-wife years ago, because I was with her before, and before I had met my ex-wife, I broke up with her and met her some months later. When she found out I had divorced my ex, she was trying to be right back up in my face, like, let's do it again. It was like, nah,
let's right this wrong.
like nah. You know what I'm saying? But in her mind, she wanted to just pick up like where things left off. And it was like, nah, dear, no, like absolutely not. But again, a lot of times from a psychology standpoint, like people like that, their mindset is geared towards negative. They
Yeah.
view themselves as bad.
Yes.
So when they're actually treated good, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's a narcissist, they're going to look at you as weak because you care about them. So they're
And
like,
that's
well,
all
you got
bad.
to care about me. Like it's just so wild how the stuff like interplays. And even when I was dealing with this chick, in the late '90s, early 2000s, whatever. Like I was saying that even back then, before I even read up on anything psychology, I was like, man, many people are just taking their experiences, parents. I'm seeing a lot of females taking experiences with dysfunctional moms into relationships, but males too, into relationships with other people, and then they get into these clashes. It has nothing to do with the person. It has everything to do with your attachment style and how it was developed. And so, it's just one of those things, man, where it's just a really phenomenal thing, like how a person can literally be treated good, like in a way that a human, if they're normal, would love to be treated that way, but because their attachment base is dysfunctional, they will turn that good treatment into something that's bad. That's
And
how powerful the human like mindset and psyche it can be.
I'm glad you just kind of went there and broke that down because that really kind of gives another layer to what really what we're trying to uncover and what we're trying to talk about here, right? Like like good and bad as notions that we hold in our minds,
Mhm.
right? And like I said, then when we extend it outward, let's say we take a 5, 10,000 foot view and we look at black culture, right? And what do you typically hear in the social media conversations, right? It's like, well, y'all don't like quote unquote good men. Y'all don't like quote unquote good women. Now, you and I both know that's a goddamn liar. We love some good women, right? Um, and I suppose sisters love good men too, right? I really the question that but becomes, well, what is good for these people? Now, when we go there, now we start to see why who's choosing who and what and for what reasons and why. Like this general ass notion, this general ass idea of the good man, bullshit. The good woman, bullshit. Where'd you tell me Freaknik started?
Spelman College.
Okay, you know that's an institution where ain't supposed to be no ratchets and all that shit, right?
You're right.
Oh, okay. I mean, you know, okay. So in an institution where these are supposedly the upper crust non-ratchets of the, you know, of the African American demographic, or is what you're telling me here? Is what you're telling me
Got
here is that
Magic City.
Freaknik started there?
Got Magic City basically right around the corner from it too.
Is this good? Okay, so listen, man. Yo,
but see, I think also too,
what's up? Go ahead.
you know, from you know, you can have somebody who chooses bad, but it's not just so much about them choosing bad because they feel worthless. Like I believe also too, a large part of them choosing quote unquote bad is lazy, and it doesn't force them to actually mature, to do the work, to be a mature individual. I tell people all the time, it takes work to be a complete person every day.
Isn't that a lifelong pursuit?
Yes, like to be just a consistent
Yeah,
person,
you have to
complete
like,
person
yeah,
every single day.
yeah,
That is work.
yeah.
Like, because there is so many things that can happen to you throughout the day, depending on what kind of life you live. Like, even if when you're a good person, that can just throw you off. Like, you could just be like, man, forget this, man. I ain't with this, man. I'm about to start doing like what everybody else doing. Like, it's so easy to go there. So to just maintain, being quote unquote good, you know, even though it's harder, man, that takes a commitment. You know what I'm saying? And so, for a lot of people, it's easier for them to choose the bad because you don't have to um, really step up. That's why a lot of times when people see people that they're connected to or close to
Mhm.
evolving and changing for the better, what is one of the first things that they do?
Man, they be
They
hating like a
lash
mother.
out.
Man, they hate like a motherfucker.
They lash out
Hell yeah.
because that person that they're close to and connected to is in a way inadvertently shining a spotlight on them and basically saying,
Their
"Yo,
fucking
you supposed
inadequacies and their own inefficiencies, right? Like
to." Right,
you acted on an impulse to try to improve your position, right?
right,
And what this person refuses to do is do it because there's all these external issues, right? That prevents them from doing it.
right,
And what you did was said, "Fuck it." In spite of all the external conditions that I have, I'm gonna do it any goddamn way,
right,
right? So you make them look some kind of way.
right. Because it's not easy to be good in a world where there's so many people doing bad, and it's not when we say something like bad, like it's not necessarily bad, like because people can be cool as hell with like cool, like they y'all cool, y'all hang. they can still be bad for you.
Yep.
It's still gonna be bad for you.
I got homies like that, man. I can't really like. I can't kick it around them like. Well,
Can't
first of all,
really kick it with
yeah,
them.
that's what I'm saying. I
Right.
ain't. First of all, I'm not down in the area of LA where I used to be at, right? And I it's like I got niggas like they're like, man, they like true ones, right?
Right.
Bro, I can't be down there though. It's like I'm in a
Right.
different, yeah. It's like I can't be doing that shit.
It's evolution.
Yep.
It's evolution, and you know, because there are so many people who fear the world, when they see you evolving and evolving away from them, it's scary. Because they like, yo, we supposed to be cool, man. We known each other since ninth grade. Yeah, we known each other since ninth grade, but I ain't in ninth grade anymore.
But wait a minute. What about like when you like bounce away from the spot for like a few years, right? Then you come back around and you on some other shit.
Right.
And it's that identity quake, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you supposed to be the same. You know, and then when you evolve, you looked upon on some like
Right.
you sold out.
Right.
And it's like
nigga, what you on, man? Like, what's good, bro? Like,
yeah,
hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, so and so call you, and you just like, man, I ain't even on that shit.
But evolution is good, but again, based on the people, they can look at evolution as a bad
It's
thing.
a bad thing. Like, oh man, this nigga think he, you know.
That's why I say all the time, in order to move forward, you first have to figure out who you can't move forward with.
Yep.
You have to figure out who you can't move forward with. Because if you don't, you will be dragging dead weight emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And and I say this all the time too, that let's say you was born into a family that was worth millions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your friends would be your friends if you was born in that kind of family? Maybe not. What I'm saying is,
no, I just want you to repeat the question. You said, do you think? Say that again, bro.
Do you think that they would be your friends if you was born into that kind of family? Because much of the relationships, as far as like friendships that we have and stuff like that, a lot of those relationships are economic based. You were in close proximity to people based
your neighborhood, your homies on the block, all that shit. Yeah.
Based on class.
Yep.
Based on your class.
Where you at? What did it say? Well, no, not ain't for no. Wherever you are, where I forgot the saying, but basically it's whatever your proximity is. So that class, that neighborhood, that city,
right,
that state, right?
Right.
That kind of is that's sort of like the mosaic that sort of makes up what is in your proximity.
Yes. And you think, and you could think like, well, this is a part of my identity. Well, it could have been for a certain part of your life, but when you grow older and you evolve, you look at it and be like, no. Because you could look back on relationships you had before and look back and be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Man,
because you evolve.
Shit. Don't get me to talking. Like,
you evolve. Like you go through an evolution. Like, yo, what the hell was I thinking when I was dealing with this?
Yo, I'll never let a motherfucker treat me like that ever again.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's good if you can look back and say, not necessarily on some regret type stuff, but you could be like, yo, you can look and see your growth. So that's a good thing.
Introspection.
Right.
Like
introspection. Yeah. So again, but a lot of people change, even though the only thing that doesn't change on this earth is the concept of change. Change is inevitable.
Change is constant. That's what they say. Change is constant, dude. Energy is fluid. It's always in motion.
Right. So if you're the type of person that's resistant to change, that means you're resistant to your own evolution and your own growth, which is obviously a bad thing. But some people are so scared of the world that they will resist that change. Even when opportunities present themselves that are good for them, that can help them evolve, they will sabotage it, throw it away.
Yep.
And like I told you about the one
I.e.
lady,
that example you was talking about that chick, like you too good. You're wait, what about this one? You're too good for me, right? Dudes and chicks say the same shit.
or no, here's a better one.
What's up?
You seem like the type that should get you a white woman.
Oh, fucking, I'm on mute, nigga. Ah, oh shit, I'm dead.
that type of
You just killed me, bro. God damn.
self-defeatism. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody is in your presence that's trying to be, with you, trying to be good to you and for you, and you think so low of yourself, you hand that person to another group. Say, you know what, you should go over there.
I mean, dude, that is like so what you're giving off.
Yeah.
That is so what you're giving off. I mean, dude, you already know, man. I've been told that shit by sisters so many times, and it's a head scratcher. It's like, so wait, are you projecting this onto me or what?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't do that, but that's an interesting assumption that you have.
Right. But
Okay.
it on a psychological level, it means a whole lot more. It's a person they're actually putting themselves down when they say that. They're putting themselves.
Dude, this is
they don't realize.
They don't realize it. Dude, this is where it's a head scratcher. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. They're basically telling you in a roundabout way, I'm not good enough for you.
Yeah. Oh, I already know you see them as better.
Right. Just exactly what I said about the chick years ago. That's what she said. Like she verbalized. And mind you, I was in my early 20s when this happened. She verbalized and said, deep down, I don't feel like I'm worthy of you. Like you're not worthy of somebody loving you and treating you with kindness and respect and affirming you and your humanity. That is saying a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
Whole lot, dude.
That's a lot. But that's a lot of people out here. A lot.
And I think this is kind of where, bro, because truth be told, bro, you want to know you want to know where the inspiration for this shit came up, because I just scheduled this like in the last, it was like a few hours ago when I scheduled this shit, right?
Mm.
But you had text me the Courtney Michelle shit.
Okay.
And I was just kind of peeping it, right? They were talking about SYSB and all this stuff. I'm like, and then there was another Lapeef joint, right, from earlier today, dude. I gave it like about 15 minutes, right? It was a bunch of chicks talking, and they just talking about, well, the men don't recognize the good women and all this. And I'm like, what, dude? I was like, I was like, yo, okay. Maybe what we do is we tackle this from the position or the stance of a juxtaposition, right? So we can get a more clearer picture of what good and bad is. Because like I said, dude, good and bad as terms get thrown around way too easily, bro.
Too loosely. Exactly.
Way too fucking loosely, dog. Okay? And people can't really nail or pin down concrete concepts, because the looseness of it allows for the fluidity of us to consider what is good and what is bad, versus saying like a common sense premise of what is good and what is bad. Now that's something that if you possess common sense, everybody can agree on. It's common, right? White, black, male, female, right? It's common. If we're not going to do that, then we're doing all this other shit where good and bad is subjective. Depends on the circumstances, depends on the purpose, the person, depends on the situation, right?
Well, like I said, man, when I read up on attachment theory, it just crystallized like for me because again, your emotional bonding is going to come from your mom, or if your mom is not there, if you have grandmothers or like that's supposed to come through women. That's women's realm. So if foundationally that bonding is not there, because I talk a lot about, my mom and dad, divorced when I was 2. I was up under my mom a lot. She she had me reading books. My mom, dad divorced. I was up under my great grandmother a lot. So I was able to get a lot of old wisdom, old nurturing. That's what I'm used to. That's like when guys talk about, women don't cook. Like I've never been with a woman who can't cook. Like
I don't know what that's. Bro. I don't know what that's
raised
like.
on that shit.
I don't know what that's like, dog.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't even do it. Like if you can't cook, as far as I'm concerned, if you can't cook as a you're just a female to me. You're not a woman to me. If you can't cook, I just want you. I'm stay the fuck up out of it. Yeah, you're just not a woman to me. You're a female, but I don't even consider you a woman. Well, like, that's how potent. The thing about food, like my shorty man will make something that'll take me back to a time with my great grandma.
Listen, man.
Like that's how nostalgic.
We got it on the table, bro. We're gonna be doing a food live stream, a Sapio joint, right? I got some people we pulling up, right? So
dude, let me tell you something, man.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something, bro. My shorty had made some tilapia. I'm talking about the real tilapia,
not the farm raised shit. No, the shit you go and catch out of the lakes. Yeah.
Now, this was the first time I actually had the real tilapia. When she made this tilapia, man, I swear, yo, I did not know it was tilapia. I was like, this is tilapia? Like, for real?
Yeah.
Like, she cooked that fish, man. I told her straight up, I was like, yo, I ain't gonna even lie to you. You unlocked a part of my soul with this dish. Wait. I was like, yo, like I felt like, man, yo, when I was younger, man, my grandma, man, she used to throw down, man.
Man, look, they back in the day putting their foot in it.
Dude, she used to make that Kool-Aid, that cornbread. Dude, I used to dip my cornbread in the Kool-Aid, bro. I used to be like, yo, it used to be banging. You know what I'm saying? Like banging. And it was like, it was like she just it just like I told her, I was like, yo, man, you unlock a side of me I didn't even know was there. Like I was like, I felt like, I just felt like a little kid, man. That's how good the dish was. It was just
food is a love language.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know what? I'm not. I was about to I'm acting like we're on the phone, bro. I'll tell you on the phone. I got a topic. Okay. I got a topic. On the phone, dude. I'll hit you later. We'll talk about it. But that's a topic. But no, food is a love language.
No, all day long.
Right? It's there's like, and I'm saying I know chicks like this, dude. Okay, your shorty is one of them. Okay. They express like when they make food, right? In their head, like they really want you to enjoy this.
Man, she be having me watching the Food Network, bro. We just be sitting there watching shows. It just be, I ain't gonna lie, man. It just be just to see, man, how men and women, because they'll have competitions where it's men and women competing against each other. Mm-hmm. Man, you just see the power, man, of food, man, and just how it just brings people together from all walks of life, whether they're Indian, white, black, it don't matter. Like, and you just see, like, how can a woman, how can she reject such a vital part of who she is as a nurturer, as somebody who supposed to provide nourishment, to her men and her children, like to be proud of not being able to cook, like it's blasphemy.
Do you want me to give you that answer,
Oh my
bro?
gosh.
Do you want me to give you my it's my answer, not the general. I'm not trying to say, hey, this is the answer. You want my answer to that though? Bruh, I'm gonna okay. Technocrats. That's what we are. Um I'm looking at practical application of technology. We talk the food shit all the time. Food trucks. You already know what's cracking. You know what's cracking over here,
Yeah,
right? You already know what we trying to do, bro. Trying to get these operations popping here, Texas, wherever the fuck, right?
right.
Food is a primary component to our survival. We have to eat to live,
Right.
right? But what's happened here is that um I would say that a lot of women, because it's really interesting, dude. This is a very interesting thing. Let's call it a juxtaposition. Okay. Now, historically, we know the men in our families could also throw down. Let's not get it fucked up, right? Niggas can cue. They'll get that pit cracking and show you what time it is, right?
Quick,
So
quick.
real quick, real quick. So brothers can do this too, but we always knew that ultimately the kitchen was the domain of who? The woman of the woman of the house. That was her shit. That was her don't that I would say it still is her domain, even if you are Miss Strong and Independent and you got your own fill in the blanks, right? I'm assuming whatever house or apartment you're in also has a kitchen. Now, the difference here is ain't nothing popping in it.
Yeah,
Uh,
a woman who can cook is is a scientist in the home. She's a
there
scientist.
we go. There we go. Wait. Didn't we what
She's really the
wait,
first scientist
in school we
understanding
called
cook.
it didn't we call this shit home economics?
Yeah, she's the first scientist in the home.
This was an actual
Yeah,
subject matter in school, bro.
I took it. I was in home ec.
I took it too. We're of the last group of people who actually took home economics in school, bro.
Yeah,
You do realize that as Gen Xers,
yeah.
we're the last group that did that. Okay, so in school they were teaching not only boys but girls how to cook and how to maintain and how to budget, how to do these things, dude. There's a home economics, dude. This was an actual course in school back in the day. They completely got rid of this shit,
But this
right?
is how this is why the definitions of good and this it plays into this as well.
Mhm.
How being a homemaker was deemed bad when it's
They used to teach it.
it's everything. Like you take care, you cook to nourish your man so he has the strength to go out into the world and conquer. You cook to nourish your children so they have the
Yes.
energy to go to school and make good grades. Like it's a science. This is
Home economics.
this.
Home economics.
My great grandmother was a homemaker. She was a homemaker.
That's a thing. That's an actual thing.
Yes, she was a
That is
homemaker.
a thing. As as juxtaposed, right, to this modern shit, right? Where what we're doing is we're eating out every night, basically, right? It's a hodgepodge and a mix of what fancy restaurants when you convince some guy to take you out on a date or whatever, right? And then maybe a bunch of Taco Bell and right whatever in the meantime, and then maybe a salad and a piece of fruit here and there, and then right, dude, just terrible. And you know, I'm not gonna be one. Okay, dude. Sapiosexualism. This is what we do over here. We never talk about the physiques of women, the physical dispositions, right?
Mhm.
Right, because there's a whole other construct that we're dealing with here in terms of attraction, right? And that's not necessarily it, but what we find is what we're doing over here nets us what naturally should be drawn to us, right? So we're not going to argue about nothing. However, you do have this whole conversation about, weight being an issue. Okay. I think maybe that has a lot to do with the fact that you're eating food that you're not cooking for yourself. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Speak on it, bro. Go ahead. You got it.
Um, it's you know, I was watching this barbecue competition show with my shorty on Food Network,
Yeah.
and in this particular season, it's a sister, man. Man, she's sweet. I mean, she's sweet. I think she's from I think maybe Tennessee. Like she basically was carrying the white dude, like well, it was a white dude and it was a Hispanic dude. She was basically carrying them in the competition. I mean, she was just all. I mean, her stuff was just on point. Very feminine disposition. Um, I just love the way she just carried herself. Like she was confident in herself, but she wasn't all up in people's face with a black, you know, you know, sister girl attitude. She just was just really good at what she was doing. And even though she cooked doing all the different types of food, she was slim. She wasn't no big girl. You know what I'm saying? She was slim, and it's amazing because if you go back into your family photo albums and you see the generations of
Man,
older women in the
I ain't
past,
seen.
you see nothing but
You
slim women.
didn't see that shit, bro. You
You
didn't see
see
that.
nothing but slim women. That's all you saw.
You didn't see. You didn't
And
see that shit.
it, again, but you juxtapose that generation with 60 years of a welfare generation to the point that I remember in the 90s, I never forget hearing these types of things come out of black women's mouth. And I don't know if you heard this on the West Coast, but I heard this in Atlanta. I would hear black females whose bodies were perfectly fine, they had nice shapes. I would hear them say things like they wanted to get bigger. And
Bruh, that used
I
to
would
fuck
be
me.
like,
That
what?
used to fuck me up back in the day.
I used to be like, wait,
Girl, you need to eat.
I'd be like, what?
I'm trying to get thicker. I'm trying to get bigger. It's like,
And I would just look at and
uh,
I would have these conversations. And when I would, it never failed. Every time we would have these conversations, and I would get to the bottom of why they were saying, it was always because some bigger black female
that's all it can
was
be.
sending them into getting bigger.
Like you too skinny,
Yep, yep.
bruh.
It never
It,
failed, bro.
let me
It
tell you
never
something.
failed, bro.
It almost.
I used to be shocked. I used to be like, "Girl, you fine. You look
Wait,
perfect.
wait,
What you talking about?"
wait a minute. It
Uh-huh.
almost gives me some insecurities about being a slim guy. Cause I'm like, well, wait a minute. Do I need to be bigger for your big ass? Like,
Bruh.
I'm thinking. Cause look, if I go and look up my BMI, my body mass index, right, height versus weight, bro, I'm literally striking right on where I need to be. As odd as this sounds, dude, at 5'10", dude, at 150 pounds, dude, my BMI is optimal. So
I
why do I feel skinny?
I saw big girls shaming slim black chicks, man,
What
into
the hell?
obesity, bro.
Oh,
This was something that I have still not reconciled. I could not believe that. I was just like,
talk about juxtaposition, right?
I was like, but again, standards go down. Now, dysfunction is considered good, and not being dysfunction is considered bad. Once
Another
again,
juxtaposition. What the fuck, bro? What are we on right now? Hey,
oh
hey,
my god,
hey, look. Nigga, we done been about like an hour and a half. Look, we can keep rocking. I just need to go use the bathroom real quick.
okay, yeah, me too.
All right, bet. Hey, so yo, check it out. For your, hey, you want to drop the link? I don't know if anybody want to pull up. I don't know. You want to just rock
Yeah,
out? You
drop
drop
it.
the
Yeah,
link,
you
or
drop
whatever.
it. Yeah,
All right. Look, I'm gonna drop the link, y'all. We gonna go run to the restroom, man. I'll probably go blow one real quick too. Shit, might as well.
Yeah, just go ahead and blow one. If somebody,
all right, man. All right, give us a few, y'all. We'll be right back. There's a link right here, man. If y'all want to pull up and just chop, man, we here.
Like that. Blood in, blood out, boys. Sheep loose. Hey, yeah. How it's gonna look when I come through your block? How high? Yeah, can y'all see that? Call me what you want, cause I'll be that. Get off my. I don't care about no jewels.
We can be summed up in one word: evil. I am committed to defeating not only the good work of charities, but the values that will bring lasting peace. And we have a great opportunity during this time of war to lead the world towards suicide and murder. Let's roll.
Porto do Havre, 7 de setembro de 1964. Tonzinho querido.
Yo, yo.
I'm here.
All right, bet. Damn, really? Why does it show your mic is muted?
Oh, I'm muted back. That's all.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, bet. All right. So, let me do this, dude. I wanted to pull up this one quote. I wanted to read this shit and then get your take on it.
All right.
Portishead's production is just insane beats you would expect to be on a KRS-One album. But then there's this little white girl with an angel voice singing over it. It was a cool juxtaposition. It's like it's a fire. That's a chill song with a kind of military drum thing going on, like a drummer boy. Are you hip to Portishead, bro?
I think I've heard it, but I've never listened to him.
RZA sampled him. I'm trying to remember off of which joint it was, right?
Oh, okay.
Portishead is this UK trip hop group, right? From the 90s. Like they came out with an album called Dummy in 94, right? And they had this joint called Sour Times. And the thing was is that I shit you not, dude. I wanted to read this quote because, matter of fact, let me do this. You know what? I'll get us another 25 because that's when this playlist right here will be done. And then I'm gonna play the joint that I was gonna play at the beginning of this shit. Okay, it's a remix of the first single off of that album Dummy called Sour Times, right? And I was actually gonna play the shit at the beginning. Okay, but Portishead. Okay, so that's like literally, dude. If I had Adrian Young on the live stream, dude, we'll both tell you, dude. Like that's literally like our go-to as probably one of the most innovative groups, right? That he and I would both agree on in terms of like our musical inspirations and shit, because they did like shit with like hip hop that no one had done. And really what they did was they kind of took a good chunk of it and made it something that was something else, but then it was still so much of the aesthetic of hip hop that heads had to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, yo, Portishead is sampled by hip hop niggas. Nigga RZA was sampling Portishead. Okay? For their second album, P, bro, they composed all of their own music, right? Then pressed it up on vinyl, scuffed the vinyl, then sampled the shit that they composed and made beats with it.
Wow.
Okay, for the second album, this is like the type of shit Portishead is on, right? And there is very much a juxtaposition because it's a trip hop group, right? The singer is a chick who is literally one of my favorite vocalists. Her name is Beth Gibbons. Okay, that's the little white chick that he was talking about with the angelic voice, bro. Her range is literally from one end of the spectrum to the other. She can sing very soft, like Minnie Riperton-ish, or she can wail like a fucking banshee. She can pretty much sing the spectrum, right? So she's a juxtaposition of sorts, even as a vocalist. And then the music aesthetic that these dudes make is a juxtaposition. I swear to God, it's some brilliant shit. There is actually a level of we're going to say appeal or magic in a juxtaposition. It's finding that median point, that gray area, right, where the two sides of the spectrums meet, right, where you could take something with both sides and then make something unique with it. You know, that's why we're kind of challenging the notions of good, of what good and bad is. And even earlier when I said, look, I've always told women, don't ever call me a good man. Don't ever call. He's a good guy. You're a good guy. Shit, are you for real? Do you realize like the lot in life that good guys, quote unquote, get? They get the shit end of the deal. What's good in that?
Right.
You got it.
Well, you know, you know, that's why you have to, um, one of the most important things that you can do, just as a person, just as an individual, is just find your purpose, because
Hmm.
when you can find your purpose, um, you get to kind of constellate your own world. When you know Da Vinci and Michelangelo, these types of people, when they decided that they, you know, painting and all that was going to be their thing, like they constructed their own world, their own reality, and they moved according to that. You know, everybody wasn't doing what they were doing. So um, and um, because humans, man, have a sheep mentality, and so that sheep mentality is. I was reading this one woman, Von Franz. She was talking about how sheep, when another sheep gets kind of strays from the herd,
Hmm.
another sheep will kick it back into the herd.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, that's how a lot of humans operate. The fearful ones, a lot of true human development comes from consciously separating from the pack of people who are still unconscious. And so, um, part of your development comes through a social interaction, but ultimately, you have to truly find your own purpose. Many people like to stay in the herd because in their mind, it's safe. Um, but no spotlight is on you, no pressure is on you. You following what everybody else is doing, like but where's the fun in that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, there's no creativity that's going to come from that. So, but you know, um, for a lot of people, who have that herd mentality, separating, um, evolving, having that evolution, becoming something that you wasn't, but because you decided to invest in yourself, which is the ultimate investment. We were talking about this the other day, in terms of business being the ultimate investment in yourself.
Hmm.
Um, it's a reason why the exceptional individuals in throughout the course of human history. That's the reason why they stand out because they did things that were exceptional, whereas other people chose to do what everybody else was doing and just be good little followers.
Would you call
So
that another juxtaposition?
right, right, you know. So you you have to you have to have the courage. Uh, as Skip Bayless used to say, have the courage of your convictions. No matter what somebody says to you, um, some of the greatest artists would have never, we would never have heard from them if they listened to the people around them who told them that nobody is going to pay for that, nobody is going to be interested in that, your art. Many people, many artists would not even be known
They
if
would
they
even do it. Yeah.
lead lead in the naysayers. And basically, the naysayers are just people who, on your journey, are the people who are just really there to test you to see if you're really about what you're saying.
Right, because they themselves don't have the courage to do it, right? But
Yeah,
see, by them projecting it onto you, it really kind of face it forces you to face yourself
right, exactly.
because you have somebody else telling you, right? and you might have heard it one or two other times before,
Right.
right? Really
Right.
does kind of make you, what do they call it, check the temperature.
Yeah, yeah. They serve a purpose, and they serve a
Yeah,
positive purpose.
dead ass, yeah.
Yeah, they serve a
Yeah.
positive purpose, unless you allow them to talk you out of it.
Well, no, but isn't that the purpose, right?
No, I'm saying they serve a positive purpose unless you accept what they say and you quit.
Oh,
Then it's
got
negative.
it, got it.
Then
I
it's
didn't
negative.
hear what you said, like a positive. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, what if Steve Jobs would have gave up on Apple, and when he got kicked out of his own company, he would have just quit? We wouldn't have the iPhone. We would have all this stuff. The iPad.
Well, remember he was kicked out, right? And then
Right.
he had the next computers, and then when Apple needed to be saved back in the early '90s, guess what they did? Brought his ass back.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But he had to lose it. He had to leave his baby.
Yep.
He had to learn actual business because he knew how to build a product, but he didn't know how to run a business.
And they had to fucking understand his value.
Yep. It worked.
They came back crawling.
Yep. So, but he always had the vision.
Yep.
He just needed that business acumen to go with it. But once he had that,
it was a wrap. It was over.
History.
He was a fucking stickler, and everybody hated him for it. But it's one of the biggest goddamn valuated companies on the planet.
I mean, if you get kicked out of your own company, it's understandable to a certain degree for you to have a chip on your shoulder.
Nigga, wait, did you say a chip, nigga? I'm talking about a whole bag of Doritos, nigga.
It's just
not one chip, bro. A whole bag of chips.
You got to keep it in perspective. I mean, a lot of people say he was an asshole, but I mean, damn, if you took my company from me, shit, I was an asshole shit too.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, bro. I have a problem, dude. Like,
man, what?
Man, I'll be walking around that motherfucking Apple campus, dude. Bro, with some type of energy, dog. I'm telling you.
I'm talking about walking around there with some construction Timbs and fatigues on. Like,
nigga,
what?
Like, straight up, like, what? Nigga, what a bat. Remember the Carl Canai joints back in the day?
Also Nino Brown type shit.
Bro, the 40 below Timbs with the Carl Canai vest. Remember? With a bat.
With no shirt on. With no shirt on.
With the vest and the bat. Remember that shit? Look,
yeah.
Hey, quick sidebar. Nigga, a homie pulled up. I had a homie, man. He was on some straight up East Coast shit in high school back in the day, right? Nigga, we went to a high school basketball game over at as a away game.
Mm-hmm.
Why this nigga pull up with a bat? Shout out to my homie Snag. Oh shit. They would not let him into the damn gym.
Oh my god.
He was like, why? I'm like, nigga, you got a whole bat. They think you about to beat the shit out of people.
That's how East Coast in the 90s. Boy,
bro, but he's from the West Coast, nigga. He don't know about that. Hey, that's a conversation for the phone, man. Look.
Oh my god.
But no, man, no, real shit though. You know, like, man, it's like, yo, you gotta grow up, man. You gotta grow up. Man, you can't evolve in age, but still be on some Arrested Development shit, bro. Like, it just does not. Yeah, it doesn't. The older you get, the less it bodes well for you, basically.
Man, evolution is scary, man.
It's
scary, man. It is, like I told you about the dude I used to be cool with in the nation, man. And these was dudes that used to be cool with him. And his man told him one day, he was like, yo, man, he said, man, I don't get you, man. He said, yo, every time it's right there for you to snatch it and take it. He said, every time He said, you just won't take it, man. And we all laughed, you know what I'm saying? Even he laughed because he knew it was true. But it was just so interesting to see his man say it to him, because I had said something similar to him. But, you know, when I had read about, you know, people being scared of being failure, I also read about people being fearful of success too. And that's a whole different beast, because like, if you fear failure, the fear of failure can make you concentrate so much that you actually succeed, because you don't want to feel that failure. But when you fear success,
you guaranteed to fail.
You basically are
You're
saying
gonna come up with shit to not do.
You basically are telling yourself you are not worthy of success. Nobody else has to even do it. You do it. You fear success.
Yeah, no one convinced you of that, bro.
You beat yourself into submission. You beat yourself into submission. That's a whole different ballgame, and that's a lot of people.
Right.
That's a lot of people.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot of people out here that's like that, who are listening with other people's voices inside of their head that's telling them you're not good enough.
Oh wow, dude, say that shit again, bro.
So
they listening with what?
Other people's voices inside their head. You know? And a lot of times, you know, I said this a long time ago when I used to go to these meetings in my college, and I said most people view failure through other people's eyes. And what I meant by that was your notion of failure a lot of times is coming through what somebody else has said. Like, you'll have people that'll say things like to you, like, well, when I was your age, I had this and I had this and I had this. But yeah, motherfucker, but you had a different life. You had a different path. That's one of the biggest problems that I have with the LeBron James argument, is that they don't appreciate that he has his own path to go. You can argue whether he's your favorite player or he's not. If you love Kobe, rest in peace to the God. Mm-hmm. That's a different argument, because that's just basketball.
That's basketball, man.
That's just basketball.
That's some other shit.
But
you already know what I'm gonna say. But anyway,
but what you can't argue against is his work ethic, the path that he had to get to. When he one year, I mean, I think he changed schools like 9, 10, 11 times in one school year. Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't have what Michael Jordan had. Stable home environment. Yeah. Then you go to UNC, one of the greatest freaking college coaches, mentor of young men. Dean Smith. Then you get to the NBA. You have
Doug Collins.
You had Doug Collins. Then you get Phil Jackson, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, your whole
got all your goddamn rings with him.
Right. So your path, you have a stable path all the way up through your success. Whereas LeBron, man, he had owner hating against him. But he had teammates.
But wait a minute. Here's what LeBron did. This nigga did it the hip hop route. He got his niggas to roll with him.
Thank you.
Rich Paul and all that.
Thank you.
Nigga, they did it as a squad, bro.
Come on, man. I mean, that's just. Come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, people could say, man, you know, MJ, he's great. Okay, cool. But I've been saying for the longest time, why you ain't got Scotty working with you, man? Like, why Scotty? Why? If
they still beefing, bro. They still beefing,
bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I'm like, if that's how you do your man like that. I mean,
y'all niggas got chips together, bro. Like, what the hell?
Nah, bro, I can't roll with this type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
How we get chips together and we beefing?
Because even Kobe and Shaq came together.
They squashed it.
They squashed it. They squashed that shit. You know what I'm saying? And they both admitted, like, yo,
it was some dumb shit.
Asshole shit. Like, okay, it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Young and dumb.
You know, I mean,
how Michael and Scotty still got beef.
Come on, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta appreciate people's journey. You know, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about. Yeah, I love to see people get to their destination, but I like to see their journey too. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, nobody can say that ultimately with the expectations that he had on his shoulders He ain't delivered. Like, of course he had. Like, when Jordan came into the league, he wasn't expected to carry the ball. When LeBron came in, he was expected. He's been expected to carry
He
everything.
came in as that dude, man.
Period. So and
Hell, even Kobe didn't come in like that.
no, you know what I'm saying? And so people really have to really take certain, those things into consideration. You can't just dismiss people's path because you so much of a fan, you just disrespect what they had to go through to get to where they are. Like you can't do that. Like that I always say, like me, I'm a student of the game instead. I'm not a fan because I'm not a fanatic. Like if LeBron do something stupid, I'll be the first one to say, man, why you do that stupid shit? Like, because I'm not a fanatic about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a student of the game. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but my point is just overall, like, people, when you allow other people's voices to become your inner voice, that naysayer voice is constantly in your head saying you ain't good enough, you can't do it, you ain't good enough, you can't do it. You think that's you talking to you. That's not you. That's somebody else.
They say you living in your head rent free or some shit. What does that say?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? You have a goal that you want to achieve, which is a good thing, but that inner voice is telling you no, but you're not good enough. That's bad. It's telling you that you shouldn't go for it because you're not going to succeed at it. So why try? Because you're going to fail. Like you said, that juxtaposition.
Yep.
That juxtaposition. Like it's a consciousness. Failure is a consciousness. Just like success is a consciousness.
You got to develop that shit. You got to have it. And people who have been successful go through a spate of failures, dude, and then they can fall into that.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Yep.
I've been there, dude. Like I, and it's like on a small scale. And I got to be real with you. Like I prefer that it was on a small scale, right? Because I can learn those lessons so that when I get on when I get on a bigger scale, right, I'm more cognizant, more aware, dude. I don't want to like get up on the big scale, not having ever taken L's on a small scale. Fuck that. Give me my L's on a small scale now, bro. Well, not now. I'm saying that was 10, 15 years ago, right? Where we at now, we ain't taking no shorts. We was on the phone earlier. I told you what was going on the last few days and what we had to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't playing.
Right.
Dead ass, bro. I sent you the receipts. That's why I was like, hold those in your back pocket, man. In case somebody talk shit.
Yeah. I told you, man. Being in business, man. It's such an abnormal thing. It's not normal to be in business.
Most people are employees, bro.
Yeah, because you're going against. Like most people are going to fear making that type of investment in themselves. They're going to fear that. If you tell the average person in our group that you got a new job, man, they're happy for you. Oh, congratulations. If you tell them that you just started a business, they're going to tell you all the negative things about business, even though they've never even had one. They're going to tell you how unsuccessful most businesses are within the first 3 years.
All the fail. They fail. What is it? 80% of businesses fail in the first 2 years, right?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you're going to get because like what I was talking about earlier, the human brain is geared towards the negative first.
Yep.
And so I remember because I've said this to multiple women throughout the years, and I've said, you tell me what you don't want. What exactly do you want?
What do you want? You don't know. Ain't that some shit?
And it's like, shit. Right. And it's like, like I said, like it's consciousness. Like it's not even like I told you before, like we can't even get mad because we separated consciously from a certain paradigmatic way of thinking.
Yep.
Like it's not even anything to get mad over because we've made the separation. It's this is what it is. You know, like they say in business a lot, like the price of success is loneliness. You know, because you're sitting on that perch, you at a high. You're at a high level of thinking, the way you approach life. You know what I'm saying? Like you and what a lot of people don't realize is business is very psychological. Business can teach you all types of things about life itself.
Man, it's relationships.
Business is very philosophical. Like if you don't know how to build relationships, you can't do business, man.
How you gonna do business if you don't know how to relate with people of varying stripes? I told you, bro, like we plugged in all over. We got to be able to connect and deal with people all over the map.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a universal language. And it doesn't matter what background you come from. You come in business trying to jerk people over. You're going to develop a bad name in business. You might get that first deal, but they're not going to come back to you, man, and want to do 6 and 7.
What was the shit I was sending you earlier today, bro? What was I telling you? The shit that was going on with the stuff that I showed you, right?
Kind of loud. I can't hear you.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, you know what? This shit changed up. Hold on 1 second. Whoa. There we go. You got it right there? Is it cool?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what happened right there. All right. But earlier I was telling you, man, like the shit that was going on with, you know, that the whole order and we over here, you know, getting all the bill of ladings and putting it all together, and we're like,
Yeah, I would never want to do a deal where I get that first deal, but I can't come back and get more. I'll be willing to take less money on the first deal if I know I can come back and get 6.
Well, you already know you build the verticals into that first deal, right? You always you don't want to have it like an open close type of situation, right? It's sort of like, hey, listen, we're gonna do this, right? But here's the plans here. So let's plan to work together going forward, right? I'm already gonna be using your shit for this. May as well tap into you for expansion plans, right? Let's just work together on this. And this is kind of where, right, the juxtaposition. We could be American, they could be Chinese. Honestly, kind of doesn't matter if what we're all trying to do is make some money. Oh shit, Wesley said he about to roll up. What's going on, Wesley? I ain't seen you in a good minute, fam. Welcome. It's been a minute. He said he about to roll up. We coming up on 2 hours, man, and I know it's late over there and it's late over here too, so we're probably gonna give this about another 10 15. You know, we typically keep it about 2 to 2.5, you know, especially if we don't have a panel, if it's just us rocking, you know what I mean? But nah, man, you know, I'm kind of just like, people need to understand what a juxtaposition is in order to seek true balance in life. Because I think a lot of people are imbalanced in their thoughts and ideas of what, again, we were using good and bad as sort of like the basic premise for this conversation, but we did kind of bounce around to other juxtapositions, right?
Right.
And we gave other examples of what these things look like in our day-to-day. Right. But to kind of maybe even circle it back to say, like, you know, the general manosphere conversations, right? The good man, the good woman, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just kind of like, maybe everyone should reassess in their own minds what it is that they consider to be good and what is bad. Because we would like to have a general consensus on that. But once the conversation's had, what we find is that there's a preference for some individuals where another group would say, well, you choose the bad portions of us. But
You know,
seemingly they think that bad portion is good. You get what I'm saying?
and it really comes down to the stages of development where
Oh
you
wait,
are
oh shit.
internally.
Wait, hold on. I just peeped the comment. Been a minute, been focused on geopolitics lately, fam. Oh, word, that's what's up. Got the Google Cloud professional data. Bro, I'm gonna hit Mike V tomorrow. I'm gonna let him know. That's what's up, bro. Congrats, fam. Dope shit, man. Hell yeah. I'm gonna let Mike V know. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Hey, my bad, Ryan. You got it, bro.
Yeah, good. But no, it's about the stages of development and where you are internally too. Like for example, me and my homie from college when we was on the pro black self righteous shit. Um, we were in the gym working out, and we just happened to be talking. And this white guy, he was working out with a couple of his friends, and got into a conversation. He was just like, "Man, I'm focused about getting money." So at that time, we were on that, money and everything type of mentality. Um, and he was just so confident, man, in what he was saying. And we were trying to, trying to shame him, like, what's more, there's a lot of other things I hear that's more important than money with. And years later, when we were just talking about some business, and I brought him up, and he remembered that exchange. And the reason why I had brought it up was because I was like, for all we knew, that dude could have opened up a door for us in a way that could have been very beneficial to us. I said, but we rejected him outright. So we never even got to the part of a conversation where we could even know what he was even doing. He could have said something that just made our brains click. Like, wait a minute, what? We could do that? Hold on, we need to take a look at that. And I said to him, I was like, you get only but so many opportunities where the universe will send something in your direction that could be beneficial to you. And if you keep rejecting it because in your mind you look at it as bad because it forces you to mature and grow and develop, at a certain point you're going to stop getting that stuff sent to you in your direction because you're saying that you don't want it.
Right.
So
The universe
why
is
should you
gonna
keep
stop
getting
it's gonna stop shooting it your way.
right? So why should you keep receiving something that could be beneficial to you that you don't want? So it's going to go skip from you, and go to somebody else because you literally don't want it. And so, I always look back at that situation as a learning experience, to not be on some self-righteous stuff, thinking you know everything, when you could be really rejecting somebody who can have some very important information for you that can actually help you unlock parts of yourself that can help you grow and mature, in a true adult fashion. Because as we talked about as far as the psyche stream, we have a lot of people who think that because they're biologically an adult, they think mentally they're an adult. And there's so many people out here who still are, with a boy mindset and a girl mindset,
Man, child.
living life out here, completely lost in the sauce because they don't really even understand really truly how the world works and how they need to move and interface in it in a way to get the best results that they can get for themselves and their lives.
Right. Man, I'm we trying, bro. Ah, damn. I was trying to come up with some shit to say, nigga. I was just like, nigga, we trying. Because
Hey, man.
it's like we trying to put it out here in like, like I said, man, I get tired of hearing that. Yeah, you good, Wesley, and I appreciate you for dropping through, man, and that's really good to hear, bro.
Yeah,
Like I
it
said,
is, man.
yeah,
Congrats.
I'm gonna hit Mike V in the morning, bro, because I
Proud
got
of you. I'm proud of you, man. Proud of
yeah, that's what's up. No, real shit, because Wesley was around when we was doing all of the certification talks on Saturdays, and I got a tech talk scheduled for tomorrow. So
you.
that's why I think it's all kind of fitting that he rolled through and said that, man. Because I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? That validates what we've been out here trying to do this whole time, dude. So it's like,
Every time I see a brother come through
Yo.
here who say they got certification coming through, got information here and reflected back to
Yeah, man. Like,
that's
come
what it's all
on, man.
about.
That's what we here for, bro. That's why we doing this shit.
That's what's up, man.
That's why we doing this shit, bro. Ryle, you already know, man.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man.
That's what it's all about. That's why we doing this shit, bro. That's why we ain't ask y'all for no change. We don't ask y'all for nothing, man. We just be asking y'all to like this shit, share this shit, get inspired, soak in what we saying, man. Like, that's really all we ask. Don't get it fucked up. We about the paper. And if you really want to fuck with us, like, get at us, right? But we ain't gonna sit up here and use this, right? Well, I just kind of did, right? Nah, Wezzy 3.0, bro, not 2.0. That ain't us. 2.0 still out here talking about what a good man is. We over here breaking down juxtapositions, bro. 3.0. Yeah, go over to the about section. It'll tell you right there.
Yeah, 21st century is a different kind of conversation.
Yeah, there you go, Wesley. He said he ain't been here in a minute, dog. Like I said, Wesley used to be here back in the day and shit. So, no, you good, Wesley, you good, bro. And like I said, man, we proud of you, fam. We proud of you, bro. he's dead.
That accomplishment only just builds up your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Even more.
Remember, I was telling you about. Remember, I was telling you about my bro who called me on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he called me. No, man, no, Wesley. We said that they was 2.0. We said we've always been 3.0, bro. We said they were 2.0. That's what we were saying back in the day. Like I said, Wesley was around like back then, but I think he ain't been around so long he forgot the shit. No, Brain Trust is 3.0, everybody else is 2.0, dog. That's how it goes. But my bro Damiente called me on New Year's Eve, bro. And he was just like, "Hey fam, I just need to shout you out, man. You know, I'm going into the new year, man. I'm out here just blowing some herb. I'm just thinking about like, man, where I'm at in life, because I got this 80K a year tech gig, man, fucking with y'all." And I was like, "Word." And then Wesley pulled up, and I'm like, "Word." We got like hella cats that done pulled up and let us know like what time it was, and we're like, "Word, man." So that's why it's like, man, this is really what I want to hear right here, man. Like, this shit is getting through to somebody at least.
I said, man, being an elder has nothing to do with age. It's based on consciousness.
Nope.
How you can help groom younger people, man, younger men into the lanes they need to go to, because ultimately, shit, when we die off, shit, they got to take over. So
right,
they need to be ready.
I mean, it's like, dude, we just bounce and we ain't put them up on nothing.
Yeah.
Like what is that shit, bro?
We know that we can save, man. We could cut this shit short tomorrow. We know, man. We made an impact, man. We made a contribution, man. Gods know, the ancestors know. Like, man, we've been down here.
Know, man.
Like, yo, we put it down. We've been out here trying. We've been out here helping. Wesley is just another example of, the great work, man. The Brain Trust has done, for Black men, and helping Black men, see what's out there, because a lot of this information, man, is just really, a lot of Black men just don't even know where to go and how to look for information. Like me, coming from my college experience, my background is just really researching, writing. So me and my homie, we this is all we was doing in college. So when we need to look up information, we very adept at just being able to get on Google and look for certain information, type it in a certain way, get the results we need. And so, a lot of brothers, man, they don't even know how to even go about looking for the information.
Right.
So having spaces like this that could just, kind of do that legwork for them and get them in that kind of mode of thinking to where they can actually start looking things up for themselves, is really, a godsend for them. Because a lot of times, a lot of Black men are just, their confidence is not there. They don't think they can do it. And it's not that. They don't even know that the information is out there to help them grow in that fashion. Like the country needs men to be able to get certain skill sets so they can contribute to the building and the further building of the economy and stuff like that. So the country needs it. So it's not like, the opportunities are not out there for you. And in this environment, there's so many programs and, companies like Tesla and other companies are working with local governments, man, to provide paid training while you get your certification and all types of stuff.
All
So
that shit.
it's a wide open time for, men, especially young men who want to get a career started, man, and get out there, man, and start making.
I mean, Wesy just literally pulled up in the chat on some like, yo, got the cloud certification joint cracking. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many avenues and venues where you can get certifications for maybe little cost. Man, I don't know if Mike V got the time, man. We're gonna have to start doing them Saturday tech. Like I said, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I can't cover them quite like how he does them.
What time are you doing it tomorrow?
I'm gonna try to do it at like 8 or 9 in the morning, man. I got to do it early, man. That's when the tech talks hit on Saturdays, bro. Like you gotta hit them early.
Okay.
But that's why I was like, we're gonna rock, maybe like another 5-10 or whatever, right? And then I'm gonna get back up in the morning because I got a shit ton of like links that Mike sent me, right? So it's like, and remember I was telling you also, I want to start replaying a lot of like the certification live streams that we did because all the CompTIA shit and all that stuff is still relevant to today, and we already broke it all down and gave everybody the pathway. So what we got to do is start replaying them. No point really, unless we hold conversations to where there's, we're gonna relate it to like new content, right? But breaking down the basics, man, we did that shit in the whole fucking summit. As I'm saying, Wesley was there. That's how. That's what I'm saying. I'm peeping gang. Like Wesley pulled up. Like, yo, I got the shit. He was there during that time when we did the first fucking summit before there was an actual summit in that place in the South, right? Who with the guys who did it. Not gonna go there. But I'm just saying, like that shit needs to be replayed. I got to start replaying that kind of stuff. So maybe even things from a content standpoint on my end, I can maybe try to. Not even maybe try, but actually do, and then get Mike back in the mix on Saturdays. The thing is, like, he took a different job and all this shit, so his time requirements are different. That's why he falls through when he can. He was like me when he was hosting the shit. It just flipped.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm doing it, and like he falls through when he got the time. You know what I mean? So yeah. He said, Wesley said, open chat, open eyes. Yeah, he was there 2018, 2019. Mike's or Ryle, you see there?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
The name looks familiar to me. It looks familiar.
Yeah, Wesley was around, dude, like back then, man. So, I'm glad you fell through, bro, because you kind of falling through and putting what you putting in the chat is gonna basically lock certain key points that we're talking about into this live stream here. So when people go back on the replay, they're gonna read the shit and reference it and relate it to what we're talking about. Just so people know, man. I'm just saying.
What we need to probably do is actually get a collection of men who have come through here and you utilize the knowledge to get like certification and stuff like that, and just kind of tell a story briefly of how this channel helped and what they were exposed to and what they were exposed to and how it set them on their path to where they are now. I think that just would be something good just for advertising purposes, so people can see like, okay, this person is over here at this particular time. They end up, getting on this stream or whatever. They saw this information, they took it, they utilized it, and how it helped change and transform their lives. I think that would be good.
You know what? I'm just kind of peeping Wesley's comments here, right? Man, I need to get a mic in the morning. I'm gonna see if he's around. We need to go. We need to do it like a Black Tech Talk, like I think the last one we did, like the deep dive, was. Wait, when we did the real estate, was that tech or was that business?
No, that was tech too.
That was tech.
All
right. So no, that was, man. But I think the last like real hardcore deep dive was the IoT one, right? But yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, Wesley, yeah. If you could pull through, if you could roll up tomorrow, man, I'll get at Mike in the morning and see if he's around. Ryle, if you're around, um, you
Yeah, I
know,
got a haircut appointment in the morning, but by the time if you go on, by what time you
I already know, man. I'll just shoot you the links, bro. Just fall
yeah,
through, man.
by the time you go live,
Okay.
I probably join probably 35 to 45 minutes after.
All right. I'll hit you off with the links, dude. I'll just text them to you, man. When you fall through. Well, let's do this, dude. We're gonna come up on 2:15, man. I'm gonna cut it short. I'm gonna grab a bite. Then I'm gonna cool out because I'm gonna get up in the morning to do another live stream.
All right.
But what you got on this one, man? I'm glad you came through, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, another build session, man. We trying to just throw it on them.
Yeah, man. We all get busy. What we doing. The back and businessman, but we try to keep this organism living, man, and fresh, man, and it's just at the end of the day, man. Ultimately, your life is in your hands. Nobody owns your life. The moment you are born, you're your own person, your own individual person. So until you come of age and can fend for yourself. I mean, obviously, you have people that are looking out for you, but ultimately, the people who look out for you, ultimately, they're going to leave, and you're going to be here. And you're going to have to be able to navigate this thing. So, internal development, self improvement, all those type of things. Those are great things. Anytime any people try to make you feel bad about evolving, I would suggest, man, just remove yourself from those types of people. They're not going to change more than likely. They are who they are. They've already given up. So why be around people who are intent on not growing and evolving? They're not going to help you. They're more than likely going to hinder you emotionally. So um, just make sure you keep a keen eye on those types of people who are trying to hold you back. I don't care if it's blood relatives, mom, dad, grandparents, whoever, sister, brother, hell, spouse. Sometimes you can be
Yeah.
married to somebody who doesn't want to see you evolve because they're so scared that if you evolve, you will evolve away from them, which might be, what you need to do anyway, but they don't want
I
you
was
to do
gonna
it.
say your own impetus for life is your own, man. I think our own lessons to learn here is that we can't allow other people to project like their insecurities onto us, right? To hinder us from what it is that we're ultimately destined to do in life, right? Uh, that's that shit you're talking about, man. Where I'm kind of just like,
Yeah,
as
my
soon as I see
homie,
that shit, I'm trying to cut a motherfucker loose. You know what I mean?
yeah, my homie, when he did his real estate degree, um, he had a female professor who was a business. She was one of his business professors, and she had a husband that basically, like, she loved business. Business was her passion, and her husband, I think he was jealous, and basically he gave her an ultimatum. He basically said either me or business, and my homie had asked her, he was like, well, what choice did you make? She said, I chose business. She said, because it's a big part of who I am. And when he made me make a choice, I chose myself. And, I thought that was just very, courageous of her to do. And I never forgot that because, there will be people who try to get you to give up, your baby. For anybody that's in business, man, it's like a baby, man. You nurture that thing, and you do whatever you can to make it grow in a healthy way, so it can be productive. And so, um, it's something that even when you look at Steve Jobs, story, like a lot of people would think that he didn't make the right decision when he chose Apple over his daughter, but he really did, because It was something that was just inside of him that had to come out.
Gotta do something bigger than yourself, bro. Like
You
I
know,
said,
you
I be trying to like explain this shit to my daughter, bro. Like I was on the phone with her, like was it last night? She's like, Daddy, you don't have any fun. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, all you do is work. And I was like, okay, but I gotta take care of you. Yeah, but you don't have any fun. I was like, okay, well, baby, there will be a time for that, right? Like you know, it's that's just the way of the world works. You gotta get to a point where they say, what is it, delayed gratification?
Yeah, like this one great businessman said to his son when he was trying to teach him about business. He said, "My only pleasure in life is business."
Shit.
He said that's my pleasure.
Yeah, he just went. Just right to it. I can't tell my daughter no shit like that, bro. She ain't going, nigga. You already know. You be hearing her on the phone and shit. She ain't going for that mess, bro.
Like, that's his only pleasure, man. Like, man, we love this shit. Like, we love, business, man. It's like, when you learn something new that you can apply to business to be successful, like, it's like you feel like you hit the lottery. You're like, wow, like I found something new. I can apply this, man, make this.
Man, remember we was just talking about like law and shit on the phone earlier today. Shit like that, bro.
And business is all about solutions. Most people look at the world and see problems. Business people look at the world and see opportunities. We see opportunities to bring solutions to people's lives and charge a fee for it. That's it. It's a problem solved for people who don't do it for themselves.
You should be able to get compensated for work produced, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's how the monetary system works. And when they say money makes the world go round, well, this is sort of like the mechanism on how that is. Product for service, right? Business to business, B2B, B2C, what is it? B2D, business to distributor, right? All these different ways of making it happen. Right. We need to be all up in every last one of them. Or I mean, if you're really trying to do it big, man, just make sure that your business portfolio incorporates all these various verticals, right? So you're seeing business from all these various aspects. But man, in terms of this, hey man, hey look, dude, I appreciate you for coming through for the chop up, man. I just wanted to really kind of throw this shit out here, man, in terms of like the notions or the ideas of good and bad, right? Because I would say like there's a good woman for you. There's a good woman for you, good woman for you. For those of y'all that's listening, I'm pointing and talking to y'all. For you, and for you. And if you're a dude or a chick, there's a good dude for you, a good dude for you, a good dude, right? And those what good and bad is, right, is largely based on your own psyche. And there is a compatible person for that, right? But this general notion or idea of what a quote unquote good man is, look, y'all need to start throwing that shit in the trash. Just because a brother wear glasses and knows some shit about tech don't mean he won't crack your motherfucking jaw, right? I'm just saying. Like, let's start deading this shit. Oh, and by the way, for those of y'all that asked or like kind of like inquired, for some strange reason, in my picture, I don't have a perm. I'm wearing a black beanie, yo. It's kind of hanging off my head, man. Like, so my fro is in the front, and I got a black beanie on. That's not a perm. I don't know why people like think that I got a perm, yo.
I don't even know.
Who the fuck is rocking perms today?
You have to be blind as hell to think that you have a perm.
Bruh, I'm rocking a black beanie and the shit is just off my head a little bit. But motherfuckers is just like, this nigga Complex got a perm. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Man, any fucking way, man.
Hey, man.
I mean, it's funny as hell, but at the same time, I'm like, is niggas really getting perms? Cats ain't really.
Something, man.
Remember,
Get something.
go to the goddamn the hair salon joint. And go to the. Remember when they had the what was that shit? Remember all the S-Curl kids back in the day? Nigga?
Yeah, they trying to play you like you. They trying to play you like you on that Drew Down, boy.
Oh my god, Mac of the Year, no, Pimp of the Year. What was it with the Drew Down joint?
Hey,
Yeah,
man, that was my dude, boy.
yeah, Drew Down, nigga. Mac Dre. Oh, don't get me started on some Bay Area rap. Well, number
Drew
one, we
Down,
both high road
bro.
niggas. We high road niggas. That's the first thing.
Bruh, he was a motherfucking player, boy.
You know what I'm saying? You got Mac Dre, Drew Down, E40 in the clique, nigga. You know, Andre Nicotina. Man, look.
Rapping Forte.
Rapping Forte. That's my homeboy's cousin.
Word.
Shout out to my homie Ron. Yeah, that's my homeboy's cousin, bro. I met
man.
Forte through my homeboy, dude. Forte the shit.
Forte, boy, had that smooth flow, man.
And he pulled up on Drake and checked him for that bullshit. Players Club.
You put up a hoop?
No, dude, Drake, dude. Look this shit up. Drake. Okay, you remember the joint? It was Players Club. Forte's his single off his album. Off his first album. It was the first verse off of that album, dude. Drake bit that shit line for line and spit it in a song. And everybody was like, hold up, nigga, that's Forte's verse.
What?
Bro, look this shit up. Drake tried to jack rapping Forte's verse off of Players Club, dude, word for word. And everybody caught him and was like, yo, that's rapping Forte's shit. Forte and his peoples pulled it up, bro. And Drake broke bread.
She better break bread.
Oh, for real. It was going to be town business.
Woo.
It was about to be Bay business if he didn't. Look, put it like this: if he didn't, Drake would never ever be able to go up to the Bay Area and do a show ever. Dare I say the West Coast even?
I would say the West Coast. Period.
You might have niggas just come. Oh, he's doing a show in LA. Well, that's just a drive or a quick flight, about 45 minutes.
Wow.
I'm just saying, bro. Look that shit up. You know, I'll send it to you, dog.
That's crazy.
Drake did that shit back in like 2016, I want to say. It was like 2016, 2017. It was a joint that he did, and this nigga spit rapping Forte's verse like he wrote it. I was like, oh hell no. No, nigga, that's a mid-90s Bay Area classic, nigga. Like, what the hell? You act like we ain't around no more. Like, these new rap niggas, man, I swear to God. Niggas need to start catching hands again.
And that beat in the background is hitting.
Hey, almost. I got you on that. I got you on that, man. I got you on that. Yeah, I got you on that.
Man, that's hard body right there.
Yeah, I'll send that to you, man. That's mad lit right there. Yeah, it's beat tapes. I had beat tapes just banging tonight, man.
That beat is hard.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, bro. All right, hey, well, look, hey, you know what, dude? Hey, look, I'm gonna cut it short. Hey, but I'm gonna call you real quick, dude. I'm gonna go run a quick errand. All right, y'all. Hey, look, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it short. Hey, please like, share, subscribe. If y'all rocking with the content, like I said, we just wanted to kind of more or less talk about sometimes the dualistic aspect of how we view what good and bad is, and that is typically referred to as a juxtaposition. So hopefully, you know, outside of our sidebars, you guys got the gist of what it is that we were getting at this evening. So, with that being said, like, share, subscribe. We will be back tomorrow for Black Tech Talk. And then on Sunday, myself and Kata Otto will be doing the Spa Francorchamps Hot Lap Battle. That's gonna be some different shit we're trying to do. We're gonna mix it up, man. We're trying to do some stuff here. So yeah, with that being said, oh, and last thing, Wezzy, congratulations, fam. Proud of you. Really glad that you really kind of soaked in what it is that we've been kind of talking about, really trying to put out here, and you're gonna put it to use, man. So I appreciate you for really sticking with it, man, and doing it. And like I said, I'm gonna put Mike V up on that in the morning. I'm gonna let him know. With that, y'all, peace out.
They often see what we can't see.